students, we are doing chapter forms of business organization. In forms of business organization, we are discussing about cooperative societies. So far we have done sole proprietorship, partnership and then joint Hindu family business. And in today's lesson, we are discussing about cooperative societies. So there are so many features in cooperative societies, but before starting features, I would like to tell you about the meaning of cooperative society. And the main thing that we remember in cooperative societies, what are these main things? Let us see. First is working together. So, number of persons work together and there is a group of persons. Number of persons means there is a group of persons who work together. So in cooperative societies there are number of persons involved in the society. Next is common purpose. The purpose of the society, or we can say where the number of persons are jointly do some task, and in that case the common purpose is there for all the members. For all the members the purpose is common. So if we take example of company, in company there is a boss. So the boss aim is profit. To earn profit is the main aim of the company's owner. If we see on the other hand employee of the company, whatever they see the bonus. That means they want incentives, whereas boss want profit and the employees want incentives. So the main purpose of both the persons are different here. In case of company, the purpose of the boss is to earn profit, whereas in company employees aim is to get bonus or incentives. So the purpose are different here. But if we talk about cooperative society, the common purpose is there, the main aim and the main goal behind the cooperative societies and opening of cooperative society, the purpose is same. Next we have voluntary association. And voluntary association means there is no restriction between for adding the numbers in cooperative society or going out the persons in cooperative societies. So members, there are number of members involved in cooperative society and the members can come and go according to their will, and there is voluntary association means the members are free to move here and there. That means they can move outside the cooperative society at their will. अगर वो चाहते हैं तो वो कोऑपरेटिव सोसाइटी से मूव ऑन कर सकते हैं, और अगर चाहते हैं तो कोऑपरेटिव सोसाइटी को ऐड भी कर सकते हैं. सो देयर इज़ नो एनी रिस्ट्रिक्शन फॉर इन्वॉल्वमेंट एंड आउटगोइंग ऑफ the persons involved in it. So as in case of partnership, we have discussed that when a new partner wants to admit into a partnership firm, all the remaining partners should agree. The consent of all the remaining partners are necessary. Whereas if we talk about cooperative society, the members can come and members can go with their own consent, and there is voluntary association. There is no restriction for coming in and coming out of the society. So next we have welfare motive. The motive of the cooperative society is welfare. As we have seen, for sole proprietorship there the profit motive is there, and if we talk about partnership firm, the main aim of the partners are for beginning partnership firm is to profit. If we talk about cooperative society, the main aim of the society is welfare of the members that are involved in the society. So they do everything, they do task for the common welfare of all the members of the society. So if we talk about registration, where registration is not required in partnership organization and partnership firm, and in sole trade also we can see the registration is not required, but in case of cooperative society registration is required and it is compulsory, and you can register your cooperative society under the Cooperative Societies Act 1912. So we can say all the rules that are given in Cooperative Societies Act 1912 will be applied to a cooperative society you are going to start or a group of members going to start. So cooperative society registration is compulsory, and it is compulsory under Cooperative Societies Act 1912. So there are some important points I want to tell you about cooperative society. There should at least 10 adult members in cooperative society. Adult means, you know, below the age of 18 years, members are not allowed to be the member of cooperative society. So 10 adult members, adult means 18 plus age members should be there, and they should be at least 10 members. 10 members, minimum 10 members are required, and all should be adult. So next is capital raised by members. So whenever a person comes into cooperative society, whenever a number of persons start cooperative society, they start it with capital. So the capital is raised by members. Capital is invested in the cooperative society they are going to start, and the business they will do. The capital is invested by the members and raised by the members of the cooperative society. Next is membership for all. There is no restriction for membership in the cooperative society. For example, if we can see in joint Hindu family business, the members of the family only can join the business, and in case of cooperative society there is no restriction on the membership. Any Muslim or any Hindu, they can join the cooperative society. So membership is for all. If we see once again, cooperative society means to work together for the common purpose and with voluntary association and for the welfare of the persons, and the motive is welfare, and registration is very much compulsory, and registration is compulsory under the Act, Cooperative Societies Act 1912. 10 adult members minimum should be there in the cooperative society. Capital is raised by members, so members comes with their capital funds. Next is membership for all. All the members of the different religions are allowed to come in cooperative society. Now we will discuss some features of cooperative societies. So the first feature is voluntary association and voluntary membership. So as discussed in the introduction that there is voluntary membership and voluntary association. The members of the cooperative society, they can anytime leave the society, or any member if want to join the cooperative society, any person, he can join. So at the time of leaving the society, a person should give a notice, and the notice is must for leaving a society. When he gives notice, he can leave the society. Next is legal status. So legal status, we know that registration is compulsory in cooperative societies. So if we talk about legal status, registration is compulsory. So we can say cooperative society is a separate legal entity. So whatever the assets of the cooperative society they have, the assets will be at the name of the cooperative society, not will be on the name of the persons, and the persons involved and the members involved in the cooperative societies. तो अगर हमारे पास असेट्स हैं कोऑपरेटिव सोसाइटीज़ की, लाइबिलिटीज़ हैं कोऑपरेटिव सोसाइटीज़ की, तो सब उसकी कोऑपरेटिव सोसाइटी के नेम पे होंगी, क्योंकि सेपरेट लीगल एंटिटी मीन्स कि वो एक सेपरेट लीगल एंटिटी है। अब तो कोई भी अगर असेट हो तो वो, अगर कोई भी लोन लेन है तो वो कोऑपरेटिव सोसाइटी के खुद के नेम के ऊपर लिया जा सकता है, इसके बजाय कि हम मेंबर्स की नेम के ऊपर असेट्स लें या लाइबिलिटीज लें। नेक्स्ट वी हैव लिमिटेड लाइबिलिटी। एज सो फार वी हैव डिस्कस्ड दैट द लाइबिलिटी is unlimited in case of sole proprietorship, in case of partnership we have done. So the liability is limited of the members of cooperative society. So this is the case where liability is limited, and the liability is limited up to the investment they had made in cooperative society. So the investment is, they have contributed capital, so the liability is up to capital contribution. If the members has contributed some amount, the liability is at that extent. So in case of loss, the cooperative society, if suffering losses, the members have their liability up to the capital contribution amount. If any member has invested 10,000, then he is liable for 10,000 only. Next we have control. So in cooperative society there are a number of members involved in the society. So the members elect some managing committee, and the members, some members they elect from them. The committee is formed, and that committee controls the cooperative society. Next we have service motive. So as discussed in the introduction part, I have told you that welfare motive is the motive. So service motive is the motive of the cooperative society. So profit is not the motive of cooperative society, just like in partnership, in sole proprietorship, in joint Hindu family, we can see the business is run by the forms of organization we have discussed till now, and the profit is motive. But here the mutual help, the mutual help means to helping each other is the motive. So service is the motive here. Next we have equality of voting. So whether any person has invested 10,000 or whether another person has invested 1 lakh, but the equality of voting is there. Every member has a right to vote. Either he has invested 10,000 or he has invested 1 lakh. So equality of voting is there. Next we have government control. So as stated here, the legal status in, I have discussed that registration is compulsory. So if registration is compulsory, the cooperative society is a separate legal entity. So the government control is there because it is registered. So the government can anytime check the accounts or the records of the cooperative society, and they can check their annual reports. Next we have finance. How they provide finance? In case cooperative society need finance, how they will get? The cooperative society get finance from capital. First of all, capital of members. Suppose there are 10 members in the cooperative society, they all are investing capital. So the capital they are investing will be the finance for the cooperative society. Next we have loan from government, because government interference is there, so they can take a loan, they can take finance or they can take loan from government. So next is disposal of surplus. Whatever surplus, whatever profits we can say surplus, the profits of the cooperative societies or the surplus they have after doing full time the workings of the cooperative society, whatever the surplus, how they distribute the surplus, let us see. First of all, general reserve, they will transfer to general reserve 1/4. General reserve means the reserve they have created for the development of the cooperative society. So next is dividend. They provide dividend to the shareholders. They have invested in the cooperative society, so dividend is provided to shareholders, and the dividend is should be less than 10% of the surplus. If the surplus amount is general reserve is 1/4 and less than 10% should be the part of the surplus, means surplus 10% of surplus that is divided between the shareholders and given as dividend to them. Next is development. So for the development of the society, at least 10%, the minimum is 10% is the surplus part that is spent on the development of the cooperative society. So the remaining part, whatever have after giving general reserve, transferring general reserve, giving dividend, giving development portion, and then whatever left is distributed as bonus to members. Suppose there are 10 members, then bonus is given to 10 members, but bonus is on the basis of capital invested by them. If anyone has invested 10,000, the basis a bonus will be upon 10,000, and if anyone has 1 lakh invested in the cooperative society, so the bonus will be according to 1 lakh. So these are the features. The last feature we have cash trading. So every activity in the cooperative society is in cash. There can certain transactions be there which can be on credit, but the main thing is that cash trading is there in cooperative society. So we have voluntary membership, legal status, limited liability, control, and then we have service voting, equality of voting, government control, finance, disposal of surplus, and last is cash trading. So these are the features of cooperative society.